these chickpeas that you can just peel off. And if you've ever tasted absolutely delightful, silky smooth hummus, it's quite possible that someone has painstakingly removed the skins from the chickpeas.
Now, Kat just told us that unfortunately I think the YouTube gang has had a bit of an issue getting live with us, but I think you should be there now. So hello YouTube.
Hello YouTube, if you've just joined us, we were here for a couple of minutes. We've been talking about chickpeas. Today we're going to be making this bad boy. It is our ultimate falafel wrap. Gorgeous falafels, that perfect Middle Eastern dish. It's the kind of thing you get in a street food market, and it just brings back joy. What do you say?
Yeah, joy is definitely the word that we use to describe a falafel wrap. We've eaten them in many a drunken night out, and they are so good.
We're talking about chickpeas, so you could be using normal tin chickpeas. If we get a top shot here, we're going to see. You getting a top shot?
Sorry, he's in my bad.
Yeah, Ian's forgotten that he's doing the camera. Yeah. So, we have shown you what a tin of chickpeas looks like, but we also have an absolutely massive tin of chickpeas. These kind of things can be found at your local convenience store right now.
Very good.
If you are going to use that, what we recommend you do is to keep this stuff. This is the leftover cooking liquid. This is called aquafaba.
Yeah.
I'll pop that there, you can see it on side cam. Also known as bean water. Now this can make meringues, you can use this to make cakes fluffier, so many things you can do with aquafaba. And a pro tip for you is, you might not want to use this now. What you can do is you can actually pour it into ice cube trays and then freeze it for later. It will actually just return to its previous form and whip up at a later date.
It is weird how things like this just used to go down the sink, didn't they?
Absolutely. Whoever thought of aquafaba is a genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, in our little chickpea focus, we have these bad boys. Ooh. So, these are dried chickpeas. These are a great thing to have in quarantine.
There we go, look at them buggers.
Because they'll literally last forever. These will basically last for decades on your shelf. You can just leave them there, sat there dried, and when you do want to bring them back to life, you can either soak them overnight. If you want to be really quick about it, get a top shot here.
Yeah, there we go.
If you're really quick about it, you actually can just give them a bit of a blast on the hob. A couple of minutes at boiling temperature in some water, and then just let them sit for an hour and a half, and that's basically a quick soak. So there we go. They are going to taste even more good than the kind that you get in a tin.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier on that like the best way to make really good hummus is to peel each chickpea after it's been soaked. So that is a crazy tip, and obviously quite time consuming, but I'm sure very worth it, because we're all about the flavour here at BOSH. Guys, if you've got any questions, Kat is in my ear, please do say. And to the lady who's been sat on YouTube waiting with her skillet, hello.
Welcome, yes. Sorry about any technical difficulties you may have experienced. We are still getting used to this whole live setup.
Henry, how many tins of chickpeas are we using in this recipe?
So in this recipe, we are going to use 2 tins of chickpeas. Which is a very good fact that you've just reminded me, because I actually need 2 tins of chickpeas.
Well, I shall go and get 2 tins of chickpeas then, and in the meantime we can blend the rest.
Yeah, I mean, maybe use those ones from the, just weigh out 480 from there.
Cool.
Sorry about that, we're freestyling a little bit. So in along with our chickpeas, we're going to pop in some red onion. About 2 red onions would be perfect. I would probably recommend that you halve them. There's Ian, look over there. Look, wave Ian.
Hello.
Ian's on background prep duties. I'd probably recommend that you chop them into like halves or quarters or something like that, just to really help them break up in that blender. Because what you don't want is you don't want those kind of annoying, stubborn bits that just won't disappear. That's definitely not what you want. So in with our onions.
Right.
Oh, look at that.
Very good. Disaster averted. Here we go.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Good man. In with our chickpeas. So that is the drained weight. It's going to be about 480 grams. 2 tins of chickpeas.
Looking good. That is looking real good. And do you know what? In the meantime, I'm just going to put the camera on you, Henry.
Ian's on a mission. I love this. Yeah, because we've got side cam there. Right.
Side cam is going to do its thing as well.
Let's talk about garlic. We're going to go in with some garlic. That is 3 cloves right there. Again, I've just given that a helping hand of a coarse chop. So do that. It's going to help your blender. We're going to put all of these ingredients in. So plain flour is not your typical choice. You might use chickpea flour if you were going for a proper authentic flour for this recipe. Gram flour or chickpea flour. But we tested them and we found this one was the best. Do you remember that test?
I do remember that test. It's like, it just sort of has a really nice bind to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And also, like, it just gives it a really nice texture and taste. Check this out now. Sorted out that.
Oh, good man. That's looking good.
And what we got here?
So, very traditional. It's that kind of chickpea flavour. We're going to add a little bit of cumin. We're going to go in with some salt. I'm going to go quick now because I'm conscious of time.
Oh no, I think it's good for time.
Yeah.
A really good question. Could you do this without a food processor? Like, say if you were to just sort of use a pestle and mortar or something?
Totally. If you wanted to do this without a food processor, you could. There's probably like some traditionalists that would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
It's just going to take you a while, and we really like to use a food processor, but you could really finely chop it. The kind of texture you're looking for on your chickpeas is like chopped nuts.
Chopped nuts.
So once you're at chopped nuts territory, you're in a good place. You don't want your chickpeas to be too fat, because if they're fat, the falafel's going to break apart too easily. And if they're too fine, it's going to be really hard to bite into. So a kind of chopped nuts consistency is perfect.
That's it, because I suppose then you've got like a little bit of bite, and it's the sort of thing, you need a spoon, don't you?
Spoon, please.
Give me 2 seconds to get a spoon.
Okay, so then,
There we go.
thank you, mate.
No, we're sorry about that.
In here we have some parsley. Absolutely essential to get some fresh herbs in here. Those fresh herbs are really an important part of this dish, but you can be flexible with those fresh herbs. If you're cooking along with us and you've got the ingredients that we gave you on bosh.tv, you'll have some parsley and you'll have some coriander. Now, we were actually a little bit light on coriander, but what we're going to do is we're just going to substitute in some fresh mint. Oh, love the smell of fresh mint. That's going to be perfect.
That's a really good shout. I mean, like, it's nice to just have the opportunity just to freestyle a little bit. And for the people that are asking how much flour we've got, there's 100 grams.
100 grams of flour. And again, you can freestyle. It doesn't have to be plain flour. You could probably put wholemeal in there. It'll have a slightly different flavour. Gram flour, chickpea flour would be totally fine.
And what we got here, man?
In here is going to go some harissa.
Nice.
And that harissa is just going to add a kind of deep, rich red spice, as well as helping to bind everything together.
Oh, it's ready for some blending then, is it? Almost?
We're in a good place. Our recipe in our book actually says to put the lemon in last, but do you know, to save time, I'm just going to squeeze in some lemon now.
Very good trick that as well, just putting your hand underneath the lemon to make sure that no nasty bits go into there.
Crucial.
Yep.
So tell me, Ian, have you got any falafel stories?
Oh, falafel stories. I think that, like I was saying before on Instagram, just before, but for everybody who's on YouTube and Facebook, Henry and I used to visit 2 nightclubs in Sheffield quite regularly. There was the Unit and there was Gatecrasher, which used to be called the Republic. And there was a place called Pepe's, which is on the corner of Charles Street next to Cole Brothers. And I remember distinctly going there a few times and just getting a falafel wrap after a few beers. And I'll tell you something, it's the best thing ever.
Speaking of a few beers.
Oh yes? Oh.
Cheers.
Where is mine?
Cheers to all of you. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yes, cheers indeed. It's very, very kind of you.
Yeah, I mean, are you enjoying this? This is fun, right? We're hanging out every night. This has been almost 2 weeks. Have any of you been here every single night?
Yeah.
That would be cool if you have.
Let us know in the comments below.
Do let us know. And if you did catch Living on the Veg, you'll know we have to do a little dance when the blender goes on, which is about to happen.
Here is the blender. Click, click, and... Dancing now. That is good. Got the moves. Sorry, it's small. I shouldn't swear. There we go.
What?
I know. Look at that blender. It's going. That's looking good.
Let's get a touch of olive oil to loosen.
Right, give me 2 seconds. I've got the olive oil.
Ian's going to get a touch of olive oil. If it is a little bit dry, you can just add just a tiny bit of oil. Not too much though, because we don't want to make it really oily. The reason I want to do that is because I just want to make sure that these little bad boys at the top, the chickpeas that aren't quite broken down, really just get in there and get to the right consistency.
There we go.
Without me over blending.
And just so you guys know, that wasn't actually olive oil, it was British rapeseed oil, but it's really tasty, so it will work perfect. There we go.
There we go. That's it. I'm happy with that. Oh look, we've got a little bit of parsley that hung on for dear life. That's yours.
Thank you very much.
Munch on that.
Num num num.
And can I give you that too?
That as well. Nice one.
Woohoo! And a baking tray would be handy at this point.
Baking tray.
My goodness, there's a lot going on in this recipe. So now we have our lovely falafel mix. You can probably see that on top cam.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Lift that up and you can get a proper look in there.
Yeah, man.
See, that's the kind of consistency we're looking for.
Now, good question here. Like, would you be able to make falafel without chickpeas?
Ooh,
It's going to be
I've never
difficult.
tried it. I guess you could probably use some other beans.
Roasted sweet potato might be the vibe.
Well, there's sweet potato falafel, but they're using the sweet potato in place of the flour.
That's true.
I feel like you probably would need something beany.
Yeah.
Never tried it. Must think about that.
But I suppose if you all go to the supermarket, you don't have any chickpeas. Try it with a different bean. You never know, it might work. And if it does work, then let us know on Instagram.
So we're into the building now. We're going to be in quite an exciting phase. Really important point here is just make sure you take your blade out.
Blade is out.
I've got you running all over the place, haven't I?
And now I'm going to go and because I'm really interested to see how this works. So we're going to get that camera sorted out.
I'll tell you what, I'll pop there, there and there. We've got our little assembly line from chickpeas. I've got a little bit of flour here, and that flour is a tip for you to make sure your hands don't get too sticky. You just kind of pop them in the flour and stop the chickpea from kind of getting too sticky all over your fingers.
Nice. Right, so here is the little assembly line that Henry was talking about. So let's talk us through it again. What have we got?
So what we've got is we have our, well, there's a beer here. That's just for me. You may or may not have one of them. Make sure it's a vegan beer.
Of course.
Here we have our chickpea dough, I guess you could call it, our chickpea paste that we're going to use to make our falafels.
Yep.
And over here we have some plain flour.
That's good.
If you're using chickpea flour, then by all means have chickpea flour here. That's going to separate the gubbins from our hands, make them a bit more dry.
And there, look at this.
And there we have our side cam looking beautiful.
Is that in focus?
I think so.
Is that in focus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks alright. Has it got weird little lines on it? Go back to it.
Well, one sec.
Number three.
Yeah, it's just gone down pages. There we are.
Yeah, it's got strange lines on it. Okay, well, as you can see, this is quite a rough and ready operation.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, I'm going to go in and start making some chickpeas.
Yeah.
Ian, can you check how our oil temperature is?
Yes, I can. Give me 2 seconds. Look, I'm just going to keep you on top cam there. And
Nice.
someone's actually just piped up with a really nice piece of information about
Oh, yeah?
how to make chickpeas without, how to make falafel without chickpeas.
What's that?
Yellow split peas.
Ooh,
so, Kat,
nice
what's the name of
tip.
the person that said that? She's just having a look. Tabitha, thank you very much for that.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Yellow split peas. There you go. I love it when people help from the community. Thank you, Tabitha. That is absolutely fantastic. Now, what you'll see here is
Bit of oil there for you, fam.
often people will make chickpeas into a proper ball, like a real circle. Sometimes they'll be a little bit more like an oval, and you'll find that that oval gives you something to hold on to, so you can like hold a bit and then bite a bit. I also find that not doing a circle means you get a better cook, because when we do like a 1 inch round perfect circle, it feels very chefy, it feels very nice, but then the inside is still a little bit doughy.
Yeah.
So tip from us would be make them a little bit elongated. They're going to be breaking up inside the wrap anyway, and that way you can just make sure you're going to get a perfect cook.
I like that what you're doing there with you're just dipping your hand in the flour before it's going into the falafel mixture.
Absolutely.
So it just makes it less sticky, right?
It just separates it, exactly. Perfect. I'm going to turn this on so I can, and just get that up to temperature. We are going to deep fry these bad boys, which is definitely traditional. So if you're thinking about how you do this, deep frying, or at least a kind of shallow deep fry, would be the way to go. You can bake them if you want. It's just not very traditional.
Yeah. But do you know what, Heavy? You just literally read my mind there, because Kat had just been in my ear saying, "Can you bake them?"
Well, there you go. You know, I knew you guys were going to ask that. You could totally bake them. And speaking of which, we are probably going to get another question from you all, which is, can you air fry this?
Oh, air fry!
Air fry, did you say? Yeah. Well, in response to all of your questions over the last couple of weeks, we have now set up an air fryer over there, ready to go. So, Ian, why don't you take a few of these over? We'll pop them in the air fryer for 15 minutes, and we'll let you know how they come out at the end of the show.
How much shall I take? 4?
Take 4, yeah.
Right, so there's 1, there's 2, 3, and 4. These, ladies and gentlemen, going straight into the air fryer.
Nice.
With a little bit of oil, may I add, which is here.
You'll need that oil.
I'll take that.
Good man. And I will carry on making a couple more of these, and then I'm going to get some into this fryer. Our fryer, we've got our oil at about, well, we want it at 180. It's a little bit low, it's about 150, but that'll be all right.
Hey, also, what about gluten-free? Can they use chickpea flour in this as well?
Absolutely. I mean, it would be much more traditional to go for chickpea flour or gram flour in this. Much more traditional.
Oh, air fryer is sounds like it's about to take off.
Amazing. Right, there we go. We have a few of these little bad boys. Now I'm going to put some into this oil.
Oh, right, so oil.
So yeah, obviously if you're using oil,
there we go.
Be super careful. Oh, I need a slotted spoon.
You need a slotted spoon. And also, I'm going to change the camera for that as well.
Ah, nice, good man. A few tips on using oil. Be really careful. It's super hot. You don't want to get any on your skin anywhere. When you're putting things in, you want to just gently push the spoon away from you so you don't get a splash back on you. If you push it away, the splash will be away. So if you are using oil, make sure you do that. By all means, go for an air fryer.
Now, let me just say to you guys, like what we're doing here, just like moving the set around, is exactly what happens in a regular BOSH video. What we're trying to do here is recreate a BOSH video, so bear with us.
It's basically a live BOSH video.
Exactly.
For these uncertain, strange times. Now, if I've got 3, which are perfect little cylinders there. They look a little bit like tater tots, but you'll see that.
Yeah. Henry, can you
see that?
just do me a big favour and dedicate this whole video to Lucy Binney, who has watched every single one of our lives and has cooked most of the food.
Lucy Binney.
Lucy Binney.
Lucy Binney, you are an absolute hero. You've watched every single one of our lives. This video is now dedicated to you. These are Lucy Binney's falafel wraps.
And these are going into the brand new camera angled oil. Look at that.
Are you ready? Remember, splash away and just gently persuade them in. Now what's going to happen as they go into that oil?
And which temperature is that?
That's at about 160, 170, 180 would be about the maximum. What's going to happen as you add them in is the oil temperature is going to drop very quickly. So don't overcrowd the pan, and you might want to just pop it a little bit more heat on as you drop them in, just to convince that oil to stay at that high heat.
Very good. It's proper, look at this, I mean it's like super simmery in there. Like if you are frying at home, please be careful because hot oil is not to be messed around.
And a shallow fry will work just fine. If you're shallow frying in a pan, what you want to do is just keep them rolling around. Keep rolling them around all over the place so that all sides get evenly browned.
Talking about rolling around, you were rolling around those falafels in your hands beautifully there.
I am indeed, yep.
That's good.
Okay.
And that oil is just simmering away, those falafels are just cooking, it's going to be super good. Do you know what? I think it's high time we get a close-up of the oil, and that's precisely what I'm going to do right now. In fact, I'm going to put you on that camera so you can see what's going on as I'm doing it. Wait there, you'll see. So here we go. Boom. Right. So we're going all the way in there, and now we're going to get that focus pull nice, and then we're just going to drop it up. So there we go. Look at that. That is super cool. And there is Henry back in.
I'm back in the room. Right, so I've got my slotted spoon. We're done with that blender if you want to move that away, dude.
Yep.
We're going to actually show you some that we made a little bit earlier. So if you're cooking along with us, Lucy Binney, you definitely are, you absolute hero. You will want to spend about another 20 minutes just rolling up those falafels, getting them perfect, popping them on a little baking tray, and then you can start this fry. But we're going to speed this through in half an hour. Time is ticking on, so we're going to show you these when they're done, and then it's time to wrap. I think we have a minute for some questions. If any of you have been dropping some questions along the way, we have a moment to answer a few right now.
Producer Kathy, please feel free to enlighten us with some questions. The people are ready. And look, also, I tell you what, that falafel is looking good. Just show the camera here. That is looking nice.
Oh, there we go. Look at that bad boy. I mean, I think we're pretty much there, to be honest.
The first question that we have is, which book is this from? And as if by magic, I have something right here which will answer the question. The question is, well, the answer to the question is Bish Bash Bosh, our second cookbook, and it's a goodie.
And there was me thinking we had loads of time, and actually, if you can give us shot 3, dude. We are actually ready. Look at that. So that is a good colour. We don't want them too dark brown. If you do overdo it, it's fine. But that is a nice kind of darkish golden brown colour. That's what we're looking for.
Nice. They look really good.
Hot oil. We're going to turn that off, and we're going to very carefully clear the deck and get ready for building our wraps.
I will clear this away. Give me 2 seconds, and if you've got any questions, do shout out because now's the time.
Absolutely.
Right.
Doesn't time fly on here?
Can we make it spicy?
Can we make it spicy? Absolutely. I would recommend paprika. Bit of paprika in there would be perfect. I mean, they have already got a little bit of harissa in there, so that's going to add a touch of heat. But yeah, by all means, taste as you go when you're building that mix.
And someone else has just asked us, like, what kind of toppings are we going to put on the falafel wrap? Well, it's funny you should say that because we have got some that we've made earlier on.
We have been busy in the kitchen preparing for this. This is not just the half an hour we spend together, but we're busy prepping all day to get ready for you. And we do have some toppings. I'll be bringing them over right now.
Yeah, one of the topping is really, really good. Henry made it earlier on. It was like, I was upstairs and I was doing a bit of work, and Henry's obviously like the food guy today. And I was like, what's that wonderful smell, Mr. Firth? And he's like, oh, that's chili jam.
Chili
like,
jam, oh yes.
Chili jam, yes.
Also
look
in the
this,
book.
Look at all that lovely colour that's just appearing here. Oh, I'm actually super intrigued as to what those are, because I don't think I know what they are yet.
So I'm going to add the falafels we just made to where's our shot?
There's the shot.
To our bowl of a few, the ones we've just made there. So
yeah.
Perfect.
Good.
We've got our falafels here. Let's make this look nice.
Yes.
Time to build another assembly line.
Here we go. Right, so do you know what that means? If it's another assembly line, another camera angle, give me 2.
Also, I'll get some tin foil.
Yep.
Wherever the tin foil is, maybe packed away.
Yeah, packed away. Oh, here we go. This is looking good. Oh my goodness gracious me.
Woohoo! Yeah! So, falafels, check. Then we have, in order of appearance, we've got some gorgeous hummus. This is the silky stuff. It's got a lot of olive oil in. We're going to spread that on the base of our Kobe's wrap. This is a high-grade flatbread. You can use any wrap that you've got, but we recommend really going for a high-grade one if you can. You'll find that in like a Turkish store, or maybe a Whole Foods or something like that.
I remember what we used those for before.
The meze cake.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that is right.
Amazing.
Look at this spread, guys. Look at how nice this is. It's going to be a perfect little line. And Kat is wondering, as I am, I wonder what's happening in the air fryer.
Well, in the air fryer, we are testing some of these bad boys out. I don't think they'll be ready yet. They'll probably take about 15 minutes.
Oh, we've got 5 minutes on the air fryer.
Back to where I was before that started. We have our hummus here. We have our green leaves. They're going to go inside here. We've got some cherry tomatoes. In here, I've made a quick pickle. And this quick pickle is basically red onion, which was blanched, soaked in vinegar with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, some garlic, and that's it. And that is also in the Bish Bash Bosh book.
The colour of it is really nice, isn't it?
It's gorgeous, yeah.
Big, thick pink, neon pink. Oh, talking about pink, what else is pink?
Try one of them.
Pink things. Let's talk about pink things, go on.
Why don't you do it?
Okay, so yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before?
2 days ago.
2 days ago, we announced a brand new book that's coming out in September. It's called Speedy Bosh, and it is the same colour as those wonderful pickled onions. Boom.
Right.
What we got now?
The final thing on the spread that I'm trying to get through telling you all is here, and it's chili jam.
Oh,
so Ian mentioned the chili jam before. That is homemade chili jam. That is also in the Bosh book. It's absolutely delicious. It's super sweet, it's spicy, and it'll keep for absolutely ages because of all the sugar in it.
Okay, and there we've got our bread.
Now it's time to build our wrap. So I am going to go in first on top of this Kobe's flatbread with a giant dollop of hummus. And look how easily that spreads. Now I've put this on some tin foil because we're going to do like they would do in a takeaway joint, and actually just make it into a wrap that you could eat while you walk. Next up, some chili jam. Just dollop that all over there. Any kind of chili relish that you've got will be fine. If you've got a chili ketchup, that would work too. Got a bit of hummus in there, get that out. That is gonna taste sweet and fiery and absolutely delicious. Let's get rid of that bad boy. Next up, I mean, past this point, you can freestyle a little bit. The most important thing is we've got our kind of liquidy base down first. Then we go on with our green leaves. A little bit of tomato salad is gonna go on as well. That'll add that sweetness and those lovely red, fresh pops of color. I mean, doesn't this look legit?
That really does look legit, it looks amazing.
Yes, and now, falafels. What you would traditionally do with these falafels is to kind of break them into the wrap. You're essentially like aiding the chewing process. You just pop it in there, give it a couple of fingers on the food, I said. And then there we go, we have our lovely falafel wrap. But one final ingredient, what is it, Ian?
Oh, it's those wonderful pink onions.
Absolutely.
The Speedy Bosh pink onions.
So our Speedy Bosh pink onions, not only do they taste amazing and give you this kind of sweet acidity throughout the whole thing, but they also just look really cool. And as Ian says, they're the same colour as our new book, Speedy Bosh, which we just announced. It's coming out in September, and the link will be down below if you want to grab a copy. All fast, boshy recipes.
So, shall we? Seeing as you're about to roll it, shall I get up again and get this camera?
Mate, if you've got the patience, do it.
I've got the patience. Check this out. Right. One sec.
This is our wrap. What you'll see is I've kind of placed the tin foil a little bit overhanging. I'll pop you on the top cam so you can see. We've got the tin foil a little bit off the bottom here, because that's going to allow us to get a base first.
Wait there, one sec.
Yeah, we've got to cam 3, there we go. Oh, nice, Ian.
That is the cam sorted.
Okay, so I've got a little bit hanging over there. I want to make sure it doesn't dribble out the bottom, so I'm creating a little barrier there. And then we're just going to roll this up like so.
Oh, good.
Get a really tight roll. It's a bit like making a nori roll, if you will. Squeeze it in, make sure it's nice and tight. Get that bottom rolled up. Try and get it in the centre of the shot so that you can see it. And there we have it. There's a little bit of bread hanging off there, but that is our absolutely gorgeous falafel wrap.
It is gorgeous. That is a really well designed, it's obviously going to be super tasty.
I mean, think about what went in there. We've got chili jam, we've got that quick pickle, we've got those gorgeous falafels, we've got the hummus, we've got the freshness of the salad and there's tomatoes. It's ready for a housemate to taste it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Darren or MJ?
Anyone? In case you're wondering, these are our housemates. They get to eat like this every single night.
I know, they're lucky, aren't they? Lucky people. Right, so go on then. Let's get into this camera one. Let's go and show them really far in.
Like that kind of vibe.
Look
Can you
at
see in there?
Is it going to work?
It's going to get my eyes. That's why it's trying to focus on my eyes.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Oh, close your eyes.
Yes, you did
there
it.
is.
Yes,
Look at
you
that.
can't really see. There you go. You can see.
Amazing.
Hello.
Right,
Come on in. So this is MJ, my fiance, vegan makeup artist. This is Darren, our housemate, vegan bodyweight trainer, bad man. Right, are you going to bite from the same one?
Yeah.
No.
Eat from the same falafel.
Who's eating that?
No.
Okay.
No one's eating it yet.
This is just for you. Get a big bite, go on.
Go on, do it.
You got to get some juice in there.
And let us know how it is.
Darren's like, do I have to bite this now?
Yeah.
I'll cut you off. Social distancing is the thing.
Listen, we live together, it's fine.
Do you want me to slice you a bit?
I'm good.
Bite it, come on, get in there.
Go on, we want to hear all about that chili jam. And if people are wondering about the chili jam, which you are, it's in Bish Bash Bosh, that recipe.
But I can give you a quick headline if you want. It was about 8 peppers, about 12 red chili peppers, some chopped tomatoes. We had some vinegar, about 250 mils of vinegar, about 750 grams of sugar. And you blend it all up and then you simmer it all down for about an hour. There you go.
That is
all by Bish Bash Bosh.
Well
Delicious.
remembered. How is it? Good. Can I have a little taste?
Of course, there you go.
Nice one.
Thoughts?
Delicious.
Yeah?
Yeah, really nice. Nice and sweet.
Because you don't normally like a wrap, do you?
I've just got to think about sandwiches because it's just like stuff that you can't see.
Yeah.
But if you guys are cooking it,
Then it's okay.
then it's fresh.
Marks
Yeah.
out of 10?
9.5.
Sick.
Last night was a 10. So.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, delicious. I love a wrap. It's definitely a kind of go-to snack for me. Quite easy to make. Obviously, I don't normally make my own falafel, so I kind of cheat a little bit. But yeah, delicious. Can't wait to tuck into the rest of it. And yeah, that chili. I really want to get some of that chili jam because I could smell you cooking it.
So good. Yeah.
Also, that bell's just got off.
I know what that means.
What does that mean?
That is an air fryer.
That's
More
our air
falafels.
fryer test. Thank you very much, housemates. We will bring you some food over. Take a seat, make yourselves comfortable.
Yeah.
We will bring you your wraps.
Thank
when we're
you
done.
very much.
Look at this.
Just so you know, that is what these bad boys are looking like inside. That is one of our falafels.
That's such a good shot, isn't it?
Perfect.
Look at this as well.
How are we doing?
that I think is basically ready. It's completely crispy.
reckon, yeah?
Yeah, it's like it's super firm and crunchy and crispy. Let's show it on.
So that's interesting,
on
right?
That first cam.
Yeah, so this is like a live test kitchen. You have to close your eyes.
No.
And then maybe it'll get it. Come on, get it.
Come on, get it.
Get the focus. All right, let's do it on side cam. Side cam.
Let's go.
Right, so this is what we're dealing with. And what you can see here is the flour has stayed on it that we used to bind it. So if you are gonna air fry it, it's gonna work fine. 15 minutes looks like a good time, but don't do that flour on the outside. Just get sticky fingers instead. Maybe we'd reduce the temperature a bit.
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit high.
So basically, if you're air frying, you might want to experiment with the temperature, but it is going to work. It just won't be quite as crispy.
Yo, mate, I frankly just want to tuck into this.
Yeah, man, it's good.
Like,
Isn't it?
it's one of them. Like, if you had some oven chips and a beer, then you are basically like in a very good place.
Yeah. Oh, we've got some beer here. But if you are cooking along at home, you're probably still in the process of making those falafels. We hope you enjoy your meal when you get to it.
So, we've heard just in my ear just now that like. Team Bosch is strong tonight, so thank you very much for coming.
Oh, really?
And because of your strength in numbers, I think we should do a long Q&A. So,
Okay, cool.
Give us some questions, we'll give you some answers. We are here for you for the next 5 minutes.
As long as I can eat a bit more falafel while we wait.
100%. So, Kat, fire away and... our favourite hummus. Like, so there's... In our first cookbook, we've got 2 pages dedicated to all the hummus. And in there's burrito hummus, there's roasted garlic hummus, but I think my favourite is the pesto hummus. That's so good.
Yeah, so good. And also, if you're buying it, which I don't know if that question was that, maybe, there is a really nice one called Moorish. Highly recommend that. And I hate to say it, because obviously we don't eat chicken or condone people to eat chicken, but Nando's have come out with a hummus.
Yeah.
That comes with a little peri-peri drizzle that you drizzle in the top.
Yeah, it's so
quite
true.
like that hummus.
And if you're going to eat this falafel, which you obviously you are, what are you going to drink with it?
Oh, I mean, I would drink a beer.
Yeah.
It's that simple, really.
I mean, yeah, and if you don't drink alcohol, just drink maybe a Coke.
Yeah.
A Coke
I
or
don't
something
like
that.
Coke.
I like a Coke every now and then. It's like my Achilles heel.
Do you know when I stopped drinking Coke when I went vegan because I thought it wasn't vegan?
And is
I
it?
googled it. No, yeah. I think it is, but like I googled it and it was like, I don't know. There was a debate and I was like, right, I won't drink Coke anymore, and I haven't drunk Coke since.
And to be fair, it's really not very good for you. It's just one of those things that you just like every now and again, a little bit of sweetness to wash down some naughty food. Not that this is this naughty? Is this naughty food?
What would you? No. What? It's fried.
fried.
It's fried. And a lot of people say we use a lot of oil, which sometimes we do. We don't always. We have a healthy book. But this is obviously fried, so yeah, it's a little bit naughty. Maybe these air fried ones aren't quite so naughty.
And talking about oil, there's been a really good question about what to do with the oil once it's finished.
Okay, cool.
So I remember we worked with a lady for a while who basically is technically brilliant when it comes to cooking and knows all the inside information. And what she was saying is like, first and foremost, if we were cooking with oil, she'd be like, everybody, there's hot oil. She was like super, like really on that. And then she was like, right, what you want to do is leave this to chill until it's completely room temperature, and then funnel it back into the bottle in which it came, wrap that bottle in cling film, and then put that in the bin. So obviously it's maybe not the most zero waste thing that you're ever going to do, but like you don't want to pour it down. Don't pour it down the sink because it will just aid the fatberg, which is not good.
What's the fatberg?
The fatberg is the thing that lives in the sewer, just gobbling up all the oil and gobbling up all the sort of sanitary towels and stuff, and just grows and grows and grows to stop the sewer from working properly. So do not feed the fatberg, just feed the bin.
Wow.
Anyway,
or use an air fryer, and then you get, you know. Did you like that air fryer segment, by the way? Because we might try air frying everything along the way. I think a lot of people are getting into air frying nowadays.
I've got a really good one for you here.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, tomatoes aren't a vegetable, are they? They're a fruit.
Right, yeah.
So does that make ketchup a smoothie? That is arguably the best question we've ever been asked ever. So whoever asked that question, thank you very much.
Did someone just hit me?
Yeah, hit you with a sucker punch.
I feel like I just passed out.
That was amazing.
Good
That
question.
was so good.
Yes, technically ketchup is a smoothie, and if you want to put ketchup in a smoothie, we condone that. Do it.
And tell me now, why did you go vegan?
I went vegan because I was big into the environment, and I wanted everyone to be thinking about climate change more. And then Ian had already gone vegan. He showed me Cowspiracy, the movie, and I realised the link between greenhouse gas emissions and animal agriculture.
Yeah,
never realised it before.
We actually recorded a podcast a couple of days ago with Ivana Lynch, the Chickpeas podcast. So we went into quite a big bit of detail there. So if you want to check that out, chickpeas.com or just Google it or whatever, go onto Ivana Lynch's profile and you'll see it there in the next few weeks.
And obviously then what happens after you've gone vegan is you discover all the other reasons. You start to think about factory farming and animal rights and animal welfare. You start to think about the humanitarian aspect of everything as well. And it just makes sense. It all clicks into place. Same for you, right?
Definitely the same for me. Yeah, you've got to be vegan. It's so good for the environment, it's so good for the animals, it's so good for their own personal health, and so good just for the fourth pillar that not many people talk about, which is just kind of human equality. Because if the West are munching up all the meat, it means that not just the East, but like those less well-off nations aren't getting their fair share. So vegan is the best thing that we've ever done.
Yeah, because everyone talks about health, animals and environment, but basically human justice is number 4, and it's just as important.
A good question we just had as well.
Yes.
Am I a sailor?
He works in Pizza Express. Hey! It's a good look. What are you talking about?
It's a great look. And I've got the shorts to match.
Well, it's summer and we're stuck in our house, so we're dressing up just to impress you lot, really.
Now, neither of us are parents, okay? But we get asked quite regularly, like, what's the best thing in order to sort of hide veg in kids' food? And I noticed our pal Miguel Barclay did a really nice, he did like a green pesto with broccoli, and he fed it to his little son, which is really cool. But there's loads of things you can do. Blending veggies and getting them in there is a good way to sort of pull the wool over your children's eyes.
I guess a smoothie, because you can put green stuff in a smoothie but still not make the smoothie green. But also our ultimate chili, which is packed full of mushrooms. It's a great way to get mushrooms into kids' diets as well.
No, it's
and obviously these are kind of kid-friendly. They look like chips. Especially
if you bake them, and also just be low on the salt with whatever you do. Obviously, if you've got kids, you probably know that. Right then, guys, that's been 5 minutes. Thank you very, 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 very much for joining us today.
Yes, and if you enjoyed this, as some of you already know, we're going to be doing this every single week. So do subscribe or like the page. And if you hit that little notification bell on YouTube, that means you'll get told when we're going live, so you won't miss it. And thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, and if you've got any recipes that you want to see us cook in this format in the not too distant future, let us know in the comments below or drop us a DM on Instagram. We're here for you.
Oh, I just had to remember something. Tofu.
Aha!
So you guys, we asked you what you wanted us to cook, and a lot of you said, show us how to make tofu. So next week, we can now reveal it's going to be all about tofu.
Yes, our first tofu week. Maybe our only tofu week. Yeah. But it's going to be a good one. There's some cracking recipes in there. Tofu is such a wonderfully versatile ingredient. And we're going to prove that to you next week with 5 wonderful dishes.
And one final parting note, Speedy Bosh, our new book, is coming out in September. It's available to pre-order right now. If you do grab a copy, it's like fast recipes, Boshy food, but in 20 minutes or less. If you grab a copy, then that'll be great. It'll help it jump up the charts and help vegan food get more and more mainstream, as well as we'd be very grateful.
And we may or may not be cooking something from Speedy Bosh next week.
We certainly will be. See you later on, see you next time.
It's gonna be good tonight when we just sit down on the sofa. It's gonna be good for you too. And we're gonna end the live video. See you later, guys. Woohoo! Yes. Cool.
Instagram ended.
Yeah, we're done. How is that cat? How was it? Oh, fuck me, right, so wait there, I'm just going to take you